Are we live? Did you press it? Oh.
Yes, we are.
Hey, hey, everybody! Come in, tag a friend, tag a friend. It's been a while since I've seen y'all. Like, I need a full house tonight, okay? Because it's about to be lit. It's
Yes.
about to be lit. I'm so excited. So y'all come on in, grab, take a seat. You know what I'm saying? Say hi because don't walk up into nobody's house and you don't say hi. Like, come on, where we do that at? So say hi so we can see. I haven't seen y'all in so long. And I am ready to talk some junk, to be honest. Like, this is going to be like, we're going to get to the meat of it, but I'm excited to talk some junk. Y'all ready to talk some junk?
Let's do it.
I have some messy questions tonight. No, I'm just kidding. I have some good questions.
I was like, yeah, I was all excited. Already?
Wow.
I'm here for the mess.
See?
I'm here for the mess.
See?
I ain't got no earrings on. You want to go tell me I look
saved.
like somebody's son?
Girl, let me tell you. For those of y'all who don't know, I travel for work. I left all my makeup at home. So we all just gonna be here. We real comfortable. I mean, what Drake said, sweatpants, hair tied to with no makeup on. You don't need earrings. I don't need makeup. Like,
no, I definitely
it's
need
all
earrings.
good.
I'm somebody's son.
Okay.
Donald said who?
I didn't say I'm.
You're supposed to say y'all are beautiful either way, is what you're supposed to say.
Right. Like, what are you here for?
Oh.
I thought I was here to
To get truth, to be truthful.
No.
To be truthful.
So
Yeah,
what you're
no,
saying
we
is
about to
I
do
do
it.
look like a little boy, is what you're
No,
Right.
no,
Hey,
no,
Bree.
no.
It's a party.
Hey.
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 All right.
Hello,
So
hello.
we are missing one more person. I'm not sure if they'll come on or not, but we are ready. I'm excited. Can y'all hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, my phone did something weird. Okay, so I'm really excited about this conversation. So the way that this whole thing, I cannot see, by the way, I cannot see the comments because I'm not running this. So if y'all are saying hi, if y'all are saying anything, it'll be a second before I can. I'm gonna hop into the group on my other device. Okay, but
people started being messy. They, from what I could see, they said Don's just here to be petty. Is what they said. That's the people.
wow.
I mean,
Oh no.
and then somebody, it say Facebook users, I don't know who it is. They said so. Me wearing my pair of gray sweatpants is cool. That's what's up. So if that is a man, I
See,
also feel like you know better. But
you absolutely know better because we have talked to you all about the gray sweatpants time and time again. It is as Cece
that
would
was
say,
Brian
lingerie.
Thomas.
But we're in the season
Oh,
now. Like I'm
we
like I
are in
just
the
ordered
season, but
three
you all
fresh
need to
pair.
gird your loins. 3?
Three.
That
You
feels
trying to sin
aggressive.
sin.
That feels
Right.
aggressive.
I'm just naturally an overachiever. That's all.
Okay.
Wow. But overachieving in what specifically? Okay, specifically. What is it that you're trying to
Being
achieve?
being
Because
being
I'm
myself
concerned
and
now.
being comfortable. Just being comfortable. Those gray sweats are comfortable. Those are
Right, that's
comfort
what they all
clothes.
say.
Mhm.
Hmm.
That's
They
what they
said you
all
would
say.
say
It's
that.
fine.
They said you would say that.
They did. But mama ain't raised no fool. But look, I am super. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm trying to find the thingy, and in the midst of that, I am doing
Why
something
you doing
wrong.
that? Can we do a little icebreaker?
Anyway, go
Oh,
ahead. Go ahead. Take it away.
okay, while she's getting that together, we get ready to do a little icebreaker. Hey, Bray, you're so pretty, girl. Yeah, have y'all been seeing her pictures and stuff? Because she insists it's fine. Talk about understanding the
She
assignment, okay?
is fine. But can we
Like,
talk about? I feel like we should talk about this at some point. But since the last time Bree was on the live, Bree done had a little life change, a little
Oh,
zhuzh, a little razzle dazzle happening in her life. But I'll let her talk
oh,
about it at some point tonight.
all right then.
Don't bust me
Razzle
out like
dazzle.
that.
definitely. But what? So let's do
Appreciate it.
this. Just because there's elevation or new spaces, new transitions in the air.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do a little game that I like to do called "Are You More Like?" Right? And you have to pick. I'm going to give you two options. You have to pick one. Normally, we believe in consent and things like that, but not here. You have to pick one. You don't have a choice.
But not here. Good night.
Not in this particular space. So,
Oh, okay.
when it comes to being a sexual being, right? You yourself as a sexual being, if you are on the shelf at a department store, and your partner had to pick you up or purchase you from a department store based on who you are, would they find you in the home goods section or the grocery section?
I feel like you need to, for our new people, you almost need to like introduce yourself, because then it just sounds weird that you asked us that question.
No, I'm cool with the weirdness. Sit in the discomfort.
Okay.
Home goods or
But also, I'm the resident sexologist. How y'all doing? Hosted an inside scoop with the intimacy bar. Period. Anyway,
I'm trying to think through this.
come on, think through it,
I
brother.
think through it too.
Because I know it's at least 6 people in here who like, what store what side of the store do I need to go to get him from? Because I'm just saying. But go ahead, because it's 15 people watching. Half of them is here for you.
Yeah, I'm probably going
because Bree's already taken, so
section.
clearly they're not here for her, and they're not. You know.
I'm gonna lean toward grocery section.
Why? Why though? What you got?
You know, because I'm a consumable item.
So what? I can't
Gotta
even
be quick
get
on your
into
feet.
that right now.
I have never heard that answer.
Ever. And listen, okay. So somebody asked them if I could repeat the question. So this game is called Are You More Like, where you pick a common everyday household item or a commonly known thing that you compare yourself or your experiences or your proclivities to. Our gentleman, our lone gentleman here, D Money, said that when asked was he more like as a sexual being, would he be purchased from the grocery section or the home goods section of a department store? He said he would be purchased from the grocery section because he is a consumable item. And for those of you not well versed in euphemisms, the man of God is speaking to his priorities in his sex life. If you're not, am I wrong? Stop me when I'm lying. Okay. So this is why this activity works, because you have these conversations, and authentically well, we love to have authentic and real and fruitful conversations. What he's saying without saying, y'all know y'all love that game on the internet. Tell me you like oral sex without telling me you like oral sex. Oh, okay. Bree, your turn.
That's funny. I'm leaning towards the grocery because I'm thinking of variety and I'm good for you.
Period. So for me, if I had to answer, I would come from the home goods section, and that is because I am a household staple. I am expensive, and I am something that you need to be intentional about and refresh every season. I refuse to be that salsa that grows mold in the back of your refrigerator. I'm going to be that throw pillow that you have to make sure fits and matches throughout the season, that you have to fluff, that you have to, put your hands on to make sure it's right, and know that you just don't let people carry it in your kind of way. So that's who I am.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
Thank you. Lady Esther.
I did.
Lady Esther. I'm the same. I'm home goods because it's a choice. Like you said, it's intentional. You don't buy it because you're in duress or you just bored or something like that. Like you normally buy it with intention. And so that is how I feel about home goods.
Awesome. And Philip said, who doesn't eat groceries though?
I mean, but that's a fact though.
But we not for everybody.
And then
everybody
there's a
can
variety.
afford home goods.
There's a variety in the grocery section, so you can shop
not everybody can
on
cook,
several different aisles.
Not everybody knows how to cook and put the food together, put it all together so that it comes out
look,
right.
If you follow me on IG, you know I can cook. They know I can cook.
Ow!
Okay, this is going off the rails.
Rub it down. Sorry.
This is slightly gone through, but that was a really good icebreaker. So for today's conversation, this stemmed from a post that I made last week. And it was from, okay, I don't really keep up with these people, y'all, in real life. It just came across my timeline. And so, one, before we continue to the meat of this conversation, I need you to tag somebody. Like, y'all ain't seen me in 89,000 months. Like, come on, let's run up the numbers. Tag somebody, share this live. Obviously, you can share it outside the group, but, you know, tell somebody, like, yo, it's about to be lit. All right. So, I made a post in the group last week talking about Miss Ari Fletcher and the rapper Moneybagg Yo. And Ari Fletcher, who is a social media influencer, I believe, she bought him for his birthday 28.8 acres of land. Okay. I was like, flex on sis. Some of y'all was like, yes, period, sis. Show them what's good. Some of y'all were like, who? Nah, me. And one of the comments that I saw, you know, in the thread was that a lot of people were saying, well, that's husband privileges. I'm not buying land for nobody but my husband. That's wifey privileges. I'm not buying no land or nothing like that. No big gift like that for nobody but my wife. And so I was like, oh, this seems to be a thing that we should talk about. Like, first of all, what even does that mean? When we say that, what are we really saying? And then there were a couple things that were addressed in the comments that I was like, oh, I don't know about that. So I wanted us to all come on here. I think that we'll have a variety, as Ship very much entered that word in the conversation. I think we'll have a variety of perspectives on this topic, but ultimately we want to have an authentic conversation so you guys come out feeling more empowered to make healthy and authentic decisions in your relationships moving forward. Okay, so first and foremost, for those of y'all who don't know, I forget, we've had a lot of new people. I am Vernique Esther, founder and creator of this space. Authentically Wed is a safe space for believers to have authentic and real conversations, to learn how to build healthy and authentic relationships. Whether you're single, married, engaged, in between, looking, not looking, whatever your deal is, this is a space for you. We have been told that we kind of from the east side of the kingdom, so it gets a little, you know, a little flavorful up in here, but that's okay. This is a safe space for a reason. If you are a man and you're watching this, we also have Authentic Men, which is our male only group where they get to go over there and have their safe conversations and engage with one another. So make sure that you tap in. We also have events. We have live conversations like this, and we have merch. We have all types of things. We're going to have a family meeting soon, so stay tuned for that. But I want you guys really, really quick to introduce yourselves. This is some of our team members in the AW family. So really quick, you heard from Brittany. She's our resident sexologist. She is also founder of The Intimacy Firm. You can follow her. She's very famous. She has friends in high places. And she's actually going to Hollywood this week to film a TV show. That's actually not a lie. So we're very excited for her and the amazing things that she's doing. But she's all things sexuality and intimacy, okay? Sex, sexuality, and intimacy. And then, go ahead.
Okay. Donald Shipman. I go by Ship. Everybody calls me Ship for short. I am one of the moderators in AW. Personally, I'm a producer, musician, writer. I also work in finance. I've worked in corporate America for 20 years now. I have a soon-to-be 14-year-old son.
Job, y'all.
That's what he said.
I mean, so if I'm gonna make money producing and stuff, I need to know what to do with it. So, then I have a almost 14-year-old son. He'll be 14 next month. And I am from Birmingham, Alabama, currently living in Pleasant Grove, Alabama, suburb right outside. And that's me. That's pretty much it.
And your relationship status?
Oh, I'm single.
Okay. She said that. You missed the part when she had said it. It cut out.
I'm sorry. My bad.
I didn't say that. Go ahead, Bree.
Awesome. Hi, my name is Brigitte, and I am an assistant in the moderator space here in the group as well. I am all things finance also. My goal is to help teach millennials basically how to secure the bag, create generational wealth, put that in their family, and let it be something that we carry on through. So I teach people about finances. I help people with finances. Financial advising is like my niche. And so that's what I do. And I am currently off the market. So yeah.
And we do stand. So thank y'all for introducing yourselves. So back to the conversation at hand. Okay. I want to know from y'all real quick, just a real quick yes or no. Shoot it out. Would you buy your boyfriend, girlfriend land? If money was not an object, would you buy your boyfriend, girlfriend land?
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Sure.
I'm shocked. I feel like I need to bring somebody else in. I had my guesses on who would say what. But okay, so all of y'all. So tell me, why would you buy your girlfriend land?
Here's the thing when it comes to stuff like that. When we talk about privilege, that creates the idea of exclusivity. And what privilege is really translating to in the context we're talking about is means and opportunity. Most people are saying they wouldn't do something because they can't. You know what I'm saying? The opportunity is not there for them to be able to do it. So yeah, so just like if opportunity was to present access to certain things, who knows what you would do until you're put in that situation. And so with money not being an object, we're looking through the lens of our current level. And one of the other posts in the group, I mentioned about loving at your level. So if you're not at the by my significant other 28 acres, then of course that's not going to be something that's feasible for you. You're going to, look at that through the lens of your current life. So if I had means, mode, and opportunity to do such a thing based on the context of where that relationship was, how I felt about that person, and I deemed that to be, something that I wanted to give them, yes, that's no different than doing anything else. It's just within your means. Like me, for instance, there was a girl I dated, in an earlier point in my life, and I wanted to flex for her. So what I did was that I said, I'm going to take you to the movies. I took her to the movies and bought every seat. So it was only us. Okay. Like, I'm not a millionaire, but I knew what I had the means to do that. So I did that. That's what I wanted to do. So
Close your
would
shirt,
I say that
Brittany.
that's a white privilege? Absolutely not.
My shirt was started like this.
I mean, we at the end of the day, I feel like we do what we want for who we want to do it for.
That.
So if I want to say that that's a privilege for a certain kind of person, obviously you're just not that person. But I'm not going to limit it to a spouse, because I feel like all of us have done probably more than we should have for somebody that didn't really deserve it. But at the time, we felt like that's what we wanted to do. And if we just dwindle it down to that, it's not a matter of privilege. Privilege more implies that somebody's entitled. A gift is not an entitlement. We give a gift because we want to give it. I feel like there's very little that's actually a privilege where it's only supposed to be for a spouse. There are only a few things that really fall into that. Everything else is just a matter of choice. I chose to do it, or I'm choosing not to do it, and that's fine.
Kristen said, basically, you shut it down and the live is over. So
I mean,
may God add a blessing to the
basically
benediction. Now unto him that is able to keep you from falling. And present you faultless.
The only wise God.
Be glory and majesty, because what?
No, that was real. Yeah.
It was so good. And I think this, like, the only thing that I could add to echo that is when you make a decision that I'm saving this for once we get married, that's almost likened to within reason, right? Like you said, there are a few things that are reserved for marriage, but it's likened to manipulation, because you're saying, I'm going to withhold love from you. I could love you this well, but I'm not, because we're not married yet. So once you marry me, then you really can get all of me. So how are you really building on a solid foundation if there are pieces of yourself that you are withholding? And you have to act, especially when it's something that comes natural to you. Like for some of us, our natural caretakers, our natural doers, our natural gift givers, and that kind of thing is just like, oh, this gift costs too much money. This thing, like, I'm not coming in folding his clothes until I get married, and and things like that. And so am I going, first of all, I don't even fold my own clothes. Now I may call my housekeeper and say, hey, run past 1, 2, 3, that's Big Daddy way, so that you can fold his clothes as well as a gift or something like that. But if I'm actively saying, I really want to do this for you, but because you're not my husband, because you're not my wife, I'm not. What I'm telling you is that I'm intentionally not loving you as well as I could.
No, I definitely agree.
Bree, what are your thoughts?
No, I agree with both of you, and just to add another layer into it, I think that is the manipulation goes as far as like baiting somebody into saying, okay, well, you can have this now, but like marry me, and then you'll get the rest of the thing. So it's like it's almost like trying to trick people into like marriage, and it's like I don't like these rules that we put on these things where it's like, okay, let me do this or not do this or all these things and playing all these games to basically trick somebody into marriage. And it's like,
Yeah.
how does somebody truly know that they love you and want to be with you if you're not fully being yourself because you're
Being
holding
honest.
back because you've got this set of rules and
Yeah.
it's not honest. And
Yeah.
if we don't do that, like with our friends or our family or other people around, like why would we not be authentic with the person we're trying to spend our life with? And so it just feels
That's my
fake.
point.
Yeah.
That's my
And
point.
why are you even with
Um,
them if you feel like you have to withhold?
Withhold.
And
Withhold.
somebody in the
Yeah.
comments talked about
That's what I'm
land, that the
saying.
other thing, like the folding the clothes thing is a gesture, and then land is an asset. And if they break up with me
Yeah.
today, after I hand them the deed and build the house on with their husband, I don't think it makes sense financially. But here's the thing: a gift, when you give a gift, you can't be invested in the outcome.
Okay.
Once
And
the
that's
gift leaves your hand to
gift.
that person, your investment in it
That's
leaves.
it.
If
That's
you
it.
are still
Right.
invested in the back end, what they do with it and all of that, then that's not really a gift. You
Right.
are then if you're looking at it as an asset, as a financial man, then you're looking at a business partner. You're giving this as an investment that we're now co-workers in this thing. Not like here, this is yours, do whatever with it. Now, would
I
you
see.
feel if I give you a
Mhm.
gift and you set it on fire? Am I gonna feel away? Sure. Am I going maybe the impact whether I buy you another gift in the long run? Absolutely. But ultimately, once I hand it over to you, it's yours to do with as you please.
It's really that simple. And that's
Right.
that's what I was saying, when the
yeah.
conversation initially came up. I don't think we understand the word gift.
Mhm.
Gift. And gifting is not limited to a spouse. I
Mhm.
gave an
Yeah.
example in on the conversation thread, and I was like, privilege I liken to entitlement. If my father is the king, I am privileged and entitled to the kingdom when my father moves on. That will be privilege. However, the king can decide to gift his subjects anything from his bounty that he possesses, regardless of their relationship to him. That becomes a gift.
Mm-hmm.
And the gift of it, just like we say, from the biblical perspective, the gift is without repentance. I give the gift because I choose to give it. I'm not going to be sorry that I gave it because I chose to do it with that understanding. Now, if we're going to look at it
Yep.
as an investment, then that's really not a gift. It's now an investment. And so that means you're expecting something in return. If I'm going to give you something and say that it's a gift, I, in my mind, need to expect nothing from it at all. Not even necessarily a thank you is even nice, but that cannot be the expectation. I'm giving you this gift because I
Right.
want to give it. It is choice to causality. Because I feel this way
Yeah.
about you, or because you are this person in my life, I'm choosing to do this thing for you. And what we do is within our means of ability. If we had the ability to do more, I feel like we would do more in these situations, but we live at our level. So I may not be able to give you 28 acres of land, but maybe I give you cards, flowers, and candy because that's what I can afford. But all of these things aren't a gift. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? I'm not considering that an
Now,
investment.
I will say, let me jump in here really quick. So, I will say a couple things. I want to level the playing field because I didn't realize we were all going to have the same, well, that y'all will have all the same perspective. I'm close to where you guys are. I'm very close. I 100% agree with you. One thing that was blowing my mind was no, I'm not giving that because if he leave, like, I want to benefit off that land. And that's the thing, like, I'm wondering if we understand how a gift works. Like, when I give
Doesn't sound like it.
anything, my goal
No.
is for you to, like, you know what I'm saying? If I bought you a t-shirt, I'm not like, well, hold on, no, I am. If I buy me a t-shirt, I also would like to. But that's not the point. That's not the point. The point is, whatever you decide to do with it is on you. It's a gift that I gave to you. Just because the price, so what I'm hearing is, I am okay, all right, I'm gonna say it how you said it, Holy Spirit. That means that the more that it cost me, the more that I have to sacrifice, the more control I want to have over it.
Well,
And there's that.
yes.
Bye.
And is there
1000%.
is there love in control, right? And like I said, it's akin to manipulation. So I 100% like, if you have it to give, and the gag is, if I'm Ari Fletcher and I bought him 28.8 acres of land, I probably have like 58. You know what I'm saying? Like if I had my own bag, I'm not
Yeah, I
worried
own a
about what
small
I gave
country.
away because I have plenty more. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like maybe sis ain't even into land like that. Maybe her thing is she likes real estate. Like she like built up real estate. I don't really do land, but I know my man's love land, so I'm gonna buy him some land and he can do whatever he want with that. But me, I have an apartment complex or I have a duplex or whatever the case may
That
be.
I might
And so
build on
we're
the
thinking
land that I
about
bought
it.
him.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's like we're thinking about it from a scarcity mindset. But what I don't want for the people, because I want to validate everybody's perspective. And the part that I want to validate out of what you said was that we're thinking about it from the lens of, you know, what you have and what you don't have. And some people said, even if I had it, I wouldn't do it. And so I want to validate that perspective, because for some people, it's not like, why would I give away all of that money? It's even if I had, I wouldn't do it, because I genuinely believe that this type of treatment is reserved for somebody that I'm married to. And to that, my question that I'll pose to here, because it was brought up in the chat and it was also my question, is there a difference between, so like gift aside, let's put the gift to the side for a moment. Is there a difference between privilege or benefits and boundaries? Is there a difference between benefits and is there a difference between boundaries? Because we all know, okay, we all for the most part can agree as rational people who desire and like to think towards healthy marriages and relationships, who are in or moving towards those things, and as believers, right, depending on where you fall in this particular doctrine, I'm not having sex with you, I'm not sharing a bank account with you, you don't get to tell, I'm not living with you for many people, and you don't get to tell me kind of what to do with my life for the most part, right? Like I don't have to ask you for permission and vice versa. Maybe I ask you for wisdom. We're going to talk about that. But maybe I don't ask you permission, right? I'm more so like you're kind of advisory at this point, because the same way that I would ask, I call Brittany almost anytime I walk out the house, like, how does this look? Do this look right? Like, I'm going to ask my man that, but I'm not asking you, hey, can I go here tomorrow? You know what I'm saying? So we understand that on those basic principles, we're not asking permission. There's a limit on the level of sexual contact that you're having, and you're not sharing bank accounts and you're not living together. But outside of those things, should there not be particular boundaries? And if so, what are those boundaries, and where do they lie? Can we talk about that? I want to hear from you, Bree, first.
I feel like the issue that we're having here is that like I said, we're just putting so many rules and guidelines on like what we feel like people deserve. Like we go into it and we're like, especially, and I'll talk for women because I'm a woman. Most women come into it and they're like, okay, what can I get from this man? I want a relationship with this man. I want a marriage from this man. You want all these things, right? And so to get those things, you're putting those guidelines around it, and that's the issue. Instead of us just saying, hey, I might like this person, like we talked about this before, you like the person, you get to know them, and then you grow in the relationship and you allow it to organically come. Maybe you do want to buy somebody a gift, maybe you do want to go on a trip or do those different things. I feel like the issue comes when you're intentionally saying, I will care about the person, I want to do this, however I want to not do this specifically because like you're plotting. Like I feel like we kind of get to that idea of it's at what point does the love leave and the plot take over? Like exactly like what's happening. Like I just feel like that's the issue. It's like when you get to plotting, like you said, like love can't exist there. And so are you really there for the person, or are you there to, like I said, to try to get what you want out of the situation? Because if we're talking about like giving and having an open heart, like you can give to somebody who's homeless on the street, you can give to family, you can do all that with everybody else. So why is it so different for somebody that you're saying that you care about? And it should not be. But like I said, like it's a plot. It's because our hearts are not right when it comes to how we're looking at relationships. And until we can change that type of stuff, then people are going to feel the way that they feel about that. And then in addition to that, like, I don't know, does everybody remember when people were talking about how Drake spent like 10 grand on that date? And it's just another situation like that where it's like, yeah, he spent 10 grand on that date, but how much money does he have? 10 grand is like $100 to him. You know what I mean?
That's
And
like
so
Bruce Chris to him. If that, probably McDonald's to him.
Exactly. So it's like if you're like Shiv said, living within your means and loving within your means, then what is the problem here? But it's manipulation and it's plotting, and that's why we can't do it.
Yeah, and real quick before you go, B, somebody said, I'm trying to balance the scales for you, but I feel like you're having a little bit of a hard time. So I want to clarify that the deed to the land that in the case of Ari was free and clear. He signed on the dotted line. She set it up to where all she did was pay it, and the deed was his, free and clear. She had no connection. And so I don't know how we can, equate sex to buying land. Again, it's a gift. And so, like Sharonica was saying, buying me land, like, because that's a big purchase in our particular minds, you can't equate that to sharing your body, or that doesn't mean that that person, that those boundaries, like, now that I bought you land, I should be able to smash. I don't know. I'm hoping that's not what you're saying, but I think the point that I'm trying to give to you is that you don't have to buy nobody 20 acres. I know you said before that you could buy your girl a car, but you're not doing that, and that's cool. But what I'm saying is that if it's completely in her name and it has no relation to you, I'm not really understanding. Like, maybe tell us in the chat and I'll read it. But tell us in the chat why it's hard for you to buy somebody. And maybe she needs a car. Like, I hope she's not walking and you have the ability to buy her a car. But, like, let's say she needed a car. Let's say she doesn't need a car and you know that she would like a new car. Tell me why you wouldn't buy a car at this particular level. I just want to know. I'm not trying to challenge your I just want to know. So go ahead, B.
So for me, and this is my response, and then also response to somebody's comments, talked about, like, there's levels to intimacy, and when I'm still dating, I'm still collecting data and things like that. But that's why we need to be able to know relationship direction. And I think a lot of us get caught up in that piece of it. Like, I'm not doing X, Y, and Z for someone. And that is, when you say something like that, because you all don't have a clear understanding of where this relationship is going, or you don't have a clear confidence in where this relationship is going. So a part of you, although you're in it and you show up in that relationship every day, you're not really sure if you're a spot. So, or you don't really like that person as much as you say that you do, and you're just reaping the benefits of whatever they're providing in the moment. So your response to this question really shows your heart, and whether you are either not as invested in a relationship or not as confident in your spot in the relationship. And I'm not, by no way is anybody on here suggesting that somebody you're just dating, you buy land for. Like that, you're right. There is a level of intimacy that we understand, but our confusion is everybody that we go bowling with, we think is bae. We need to know the difference between kicking it and courting.
Not bowling.
We need to know.
Let me ask you this question.
And so,
tell me why. What is the difference between I'm kicking it with you and we've been dating a year? Tell me what the difference is.
It's the shared understanding of direction. It's the shared understanding of the goal of this relationship. And so if we could be dating for a year, we like, in this, the vibes generation, it's just you're a good time. I enjoy spending time with you, but I don't see a future with you. And we avoid that what are we conversation. So we don't know that, we're kind of jaded. And it's just like, oh, we think that longevity and connection and engagement means that we're walking the same path, and that's not necessarily the case. So when you talk about boundaries versus privileges, or what I think you guys was boundaries versus benefits, it is there are absolute boundaries. And so no, we're not going to share a bank account because we are not committed to one another. No, we're not living. I mean, unless now I know how y'all say it and how y'all feel about shacking, but if we are living together and we have shared responsibilities over bills, a shared bank account in that instance may make sense depending on how you see finances. If you have an account where all of the bill money is loaded and then you pay your bills out of that because y'all have shared responsibility. But if we don't have shared responsibility, why would we have a shared bank account if I pay my bills, you pay your bills, and I don't know what's going on in between? And so
it's just logical.
Yeah. And so when we think about even this, like with our bodies and things like that, there are also like we assume that people are abstaining until marriage. But when folks don't, there are also illogical boundaries, even in sex. Like you are willing to, like, you have unprotected sex, but you don't let people drink off you. Like what? Yeah. Like, it's just like the math ain't mathing. You know what I mean?
So
like
weird. So
like
weird.
you know what I'm saying? And so I think that it again is for relationships specifically what we're talking about. I think it boils down to how comfortable or invested,
Okay.
depending on what side of the coin you are in that relationship, and that impacts whether what you do for them. Because even though you show up with a smile every day, you're holding back a bit of yourself because a part of you is like, I don't know if she really liked me like that. I don't know if he really liked me like that. So I'm not going to go too far out there and get played. Instead of just opening your mouth and saying, hey, where is this going? Where would you like for it to go? We've been doing X, Y, and Z for this amount of time. What's the next step? But we're afraid of that answer. And so that impacts our subconsciously or consciously for some people impact how we show up in those relationships.
Okay, I'm gonna be right back to you. Go ahead, Chip.
Yeah, I'm just going to say, just to even roll it back, and I agree with everything Brittany said, but just to roll it back to a step further, what this really boils down to, like I said in the beginning, it's just a matter of choice, and we're just making it overly complicated. Giving a gift is just not a privilege. It's not a privilege that is uniquely defined to, the context of a relationship. I just chose to do it. So if you're saying, I don't want to buy land for somebody, that's fine. Nobody's saying you got to buy land for somebody that you're not married to. But don't make that a privilege unique to being married, because it is not unique to being married. There is no the cost of I guess whatever the price of that land is not gonna make it cheaper or more expensive because you're married.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of risk that's involved in it is not going to necessarily change just because you're married. Because somebody's talking about, well, what if it doesn't work? Well, you can marry him and it not work. Hello, divorce. That's the thing. So you're right back at square one. It's not going to change. So what it just boils down to is that you're saying that I'm only going to do these things for a person that I'm married to. That's your choice. That's just all it is to it. But it's not a privilege. I'm not entitled. You're not entitled for me to buy you extravagant gifts just because I'm married to you. That's still not an entitlement. I choose to do that. Now, maybe I'm more likely to choose to do that for somebody that I'm married to as opposed to someone I'm not. But if I so choose to just randomly, a girl that I go out on a first date with, if I want to blow 10 grand on her and I got 10 grand to blow, that's not a marriage privilege. That's a decision. I wasn't married to the woman I bought all those movie tickets for. I just wanted to do that, and I had the means to do it, and that's what I wanted to do. So we just not overcomplicate it and just say, for me as a person, I'm not going to do these things for somebody that I don't have a relationship with at an XYZ capacity. It is just a matter of choice. Whatever is in play, because I see like somebody asking, is a certain thing in play and this other thing is not in play. Whatever the two of you all agree on, that's what's in play. That is what's in play there. So if you are good with buying something extravagant and she or he is okay with accepting it, that's in play. If you don't want to do it, then it's not in play. That's just really what it boils down to. But the concept of the live tonight is about what's privilege. That's not privilege. That's just choice, because you're not any more or less entitled to it based on the context of your relationship. Somebody's got to choose to do, and somebody has to choose to accept, and that's just whether whatever it is.
And I think that even for
the tears.
For some of the ladies who are struggling with this concept, imagine if a man said, I only pay for food, I only pay for dates or dinner for my wife. So I want to date you, I want to go out with you, but we're going to have to Dutch it every single time, because me financing your life is reserved for my wife. Y'all will be looking at him like he was crazy, because there's a certain level of expectation for financial engagements or financial blessings or gifts, or whatever term you want to use, when you are romantically involved with someone. These particular people who've been together for some time decided that it was his birthday gift. She bought him and this is the other thing that we're missing. Like buying birthday gifts is a thing. Like people buy birthday gifts, but again, and this is not even a matter of whether you can afford it or not afford it, but mindset based on your everyday lived experience is different. So for me, for a regular person, somebody buying them a Benz or whatever is like, oh my God. For someone else, a Wraith is, oh my God, you know what I'm saying? Like and for some, if you were to buy me a Pacer, I'm looking at you like a 99 Pacer. I'm like, you tried it. And so for somebody else, the Benz is like, you tried it, because it depends on what you see on an everyday basis. So land, we really need to recognize that 28 acres of land, and we don't know how much she paid for it. We don't know where the land was, because in gentrification, that land could have been pennies on the dollar for what we're talking about. But I really think that what Vernique said, I think that scarcity mindset, and that's not coming at nobody. It's just that this is not a part of you don't see this happening in your life every single day. So that's why it's like, what? But that watch, those shoes, those Jordans, that tie, that Ruth Chris dinner that you did for the birthday is the same thing. So if you can get your head around that, you can get your head around the land.
Yeah, I think the differentiation in the tiered gifts has to do with I guess I think it has to do with an internal value system, but I think it also has to do with everybody is protecting. Oh man, we are all protecting or trying to protect our best interests while we're dating, right? And while I think that is good, I think that we go from having boundaries to building walls, and that's where things kind of get complicated. I think a lot of us would fare better in the dating market if we didn't take everything as everything has to be one thing or another. And I think most of the people who have the biggest issue with this particular scenario with Ari buying the land is these are usually the people who are like, oh, I'm dating for marriage, which means that in every opportunity that you come across, you're automatically evaluating and seeing, going down your list, like, do they qualify for marriage? Do they qualify for marriage? Any small thing or anything big or small is going to disqualify you. But if you enter the dating market with a more open mindset of like, you know what, I just want to get to know people, and if it sticks, it sticks. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And I want to just have, I remember I was coaching a young lady who had had some issues with like dating in the past, and she was coming open to dating again. And one of the things I told her to focus on is creating experiences. Like focus on the experience. What experience do you want people to walk away from when they meet you, and what experience do you want to have when you meet people and interact with men? And so I think if we focus less on what it is, and this is what I'm trying to get to, if we focus less on what it is we might lose in a relationship and focus more on what we could gain from relationships and the experience of it all, then we would be less jaded and less the only word I can think of is like stingy with the way that we love people. And this goes beyond material assets, by the way.
And
I
that's
find
what I was
that
gonna say.
it's not even just the gift. I'm not going to show this type of behavior to somebody because I'm not married to them. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. And the reality is there is no compartment for a boyfriend or a girlfriend in the Bible. All right. So we're going to go there. There's no compartment for boyfriend, girlfriend. If anything else, they would fall into the category of a friend. And I don't know about you. And again, I'm not telling you to be reckless. The Bible says to guard your heart with all diligence, for from it flows the wellspring of life. But I want to be clear. I'm about to get preachy, y'all, and just follow me here. But I want to be clear that the wellspring of your life, what if the wellspring of your life was not just about protecting you from all of the goodness and the beauty that pours out of you, but the nastiness that is in you? You need boundaries that go both ways, right? The wellspring of your heart doesn't just contain the ooey gooey, the gushy, I love you, you love me type stuff. It also contains the parts of your heart that are broken. It also contains the parts of your heart that need mending. It also contains the parts of your heart that are hurt, that are bleeding. And so people, when you have boundaries, when you guard your heart with all diligence, you're also protecting people from the parts of you that they don't need to encounter, the parts of you that need to be healed and that you need to take to the cross. So I want to be clear that when you're dating, it's not just about what you could lose, but how you can also hurt people in this process, right? So we have to be clear that when it comes to loving, I'm going to go in this direction. Like I said, your boyfriend, girlfriend is actually in the position of a friend. And I know as far as it pertains to me and my friends, I'm going to be there for them, right? Especially if it's somebody that I have history with, somebody that's shown, even in a short amount of time, because it don't take long sometimes. But that has shown like, you know, I have your best interest at heart. I'm here for you. I love you. I care about you. And if their birthday comes around or if they need something from me, even if they mention a need, I'm going to go out of my way to make sure that they have what it is they need. Brittany is really, really good about this. I can sneeze something that I want and Brittany will have it to my door in a second, right? She's very keen on those types of things. I am not a super good gift giver, but I'm a friend that's going to be there. I'm going to show up for you if you need something, you know, whatever the case may be. Would I withhold that from somebody that I'm dating because I'm like, oh, well, I don't want my good advice. I don't want my good gift giving skills. I don't want my good acts of service. I don't want my good words of affirmation to go to waste on somebody that may not marry me. But you again, if we are both believers and we are brothers and sisters in Christ, what does the Bible command us? And I'm going to take it to Romans 12, and then I'm gonna move on to the next question. Romans 12 talks a lot about how to be a believer, right? And talks about how we should how to conduct ourselves within the church. But if you look at Romans 12 verse 9, the title of it in the ESV Bible is Marks of a True Christian. And it says, verse 9, let love be genuine, abhor what is evil, hold fast to what is good, love one another with brotherly affection, outdo one another in showing honor. Okay. And I don't know about you, but the call here is not just to love in a way that looks cute on IG, but the goal here is to honor. When you are dating somebody, whether they end up being your husband or wife or not, are you honoring them, or are you being genuine in your love for them, or are you withholding because of fear? And perfect love casts out fear. And there is no fear in love. And God has not given you a spirit of fear, but a power, love, and a sound mind. And so when you make decisions from a place of power, love, and a sound mind, it looks different. When your goal is to honor somebody, it looks different. You're not finding ways to circumvent honoring them because you want something in the end. So that's my little thing. But I wanted you guys to talk too about biblically, what does it look like to truly love people? Not love like cutesy wootsy, but does the love that God talks about in the Bible as far as loving our brothers and sisters in Christ, does that extend into our dating relationships? So, and if so, are there levels to that?
So here's what I'll say about that. Eve was Adam's neighbor before she was his wife. So yes, that neighborly, that commandment to love God with all your heart, all your mind, all your soul, love your neighbor as yourself. Those are the two greatest commandments. So yes, that love and your engagement with that person, that human, as a child of God, if they're not saved, at least as the creation of God, is first. And love, and we are called to love well. We are called to be the hands and feet of Jesus on the earth. And how you show up in relationships, whether you are a good person in a relationship or a bad person, is indicative of your heart and is accountable to who you are accountable to, which is Christ. And that is not to spiritualize or over spiritualize dating and all of that, but loving someone well, though romantic, there are all types of love, though romantic love, phileo, eros, agape, all of those are different. It is still rooted in love. And so it may look different, it may show up different, because for some, when I'm married, being a selfish lover and I got my orgasm, you won't have to figure yours out, is just as sinful as I see someone who is in need and I can help them and I make an active decision to speed past them and splash my water on the water from my car on the homeless man instead of giving him, instead of giving them money. It is the same. It is likened to the same thing. The problem, though, is that, again, I'll not to beat a dead horse, but I think that it is an identity issue and it is a worth and value concern. And so we either think too highly of ourselves or not enough of ourselves when we are in these romantic spaces that impacts how we engage with one another. And we're also too afraid of, and I'm speaking to you, I'm speaking to me, we're too afraid of being played. Like, I don't want to be played, so I'm not going to do X, Y, and Z. And there's even thoughts and like mindsets that people like be in a relationship with somebody who loves you more than you love them. That is,
oh God, that stuff makes me want to vomit.
Like that is asinine to me, but that's because that's a fear-based mindset. That is the mindset that says just in case you can pull back, like always hold one thing back so that you can protect yourself. But pure love, true intimacy, unabated vulnerability, and even though there's a responsibility in vulnerability, all of that said, that is love is risky, even in the most sound compatible of people and connection. Love is risky. Christianity is risky. We really are literally hanging our lives on the fact that somebody died, like stopped breathing, 3 days later, woke up again, was walking around the earth with the holes in his hand, went down to this place called hell, snatched some keys, went back, and now is in this place where streets paved with gold, mansions where angels sing forever, sitting at the right hand of the Father, but the Father is also him, and then the other part of him lives in us.
And there's a dead lamb if you read Revelation.
And then every first Sunday in all of adorned in all of our white, we sip on the blood and the bread, the wine and the bread, which is the blood in the body.
Talk about it.
I mean, because if we're really getting into the apologetics of Christianity, none of it makes sense. Yet, y'all every Sunday, run around the church every Sunday, and in him you move and live and have your being. So
some of them don't even believe that, but
honey, you're not unfamiliar with risk taking. What you have to decide is that if you really want this thing, if you really want love, if you really want that love that is just beyond what the hashtags say, beyond what the Instagram say, beyond what the fairy tale say, if you really want that, you have to expose yourself and take the risk of being hurt, and also recognize that you have the capacity to hurt somebody else who is exposed. And that sometimes comes with buying 28 acres of land. That sometimes coming with doing his mom finger waves or taking his little cousin prom dress shopping. It sometimes comes, you know what I'm saying? It sometimes comes with that. But I think if we stop worrying about what other people had to say, really recognize that we are dealing with God's people, because some of us we aren't so good humans. And even though a little bit of honesty goes a long way, and just recognize that, like, listen, I'm just here to kick it. And when somebody tells you they're just here to kick it, believe them. And don't think that your Eddie Coochie Catchy
that your 20
is so good that it's
but
otherwise.
When somebody and this is where wisdom comes into play, right? When somebody tells you they're just here to kick it, don't buy 28 acres of land hoping to change their mind.
That part.
And I think that's the other thing, is that we have done that so many times that when somebody genuine comes along and they're worth buying the 28 acres, we're not gonna do it because Johnny down the street, when I bought him 15, he acted a fool. And so we have to be careful. Now, once again, I just want to be clear that what I'm not telling you to do is go, because there is a difference. Okay, the Bible does say outdo one another in love, and let the love be genuine. Again, I say genuine. You are not doing what Ari, right? You're not doing what Ari did because or doing anything extravagant because you're trying to convince them of something, because you're trying to prove a point, like, oh, look what you could have if you blah blah blah, or look what I gave you. Don't that mean that I deserve a blah blah blah? No, because that's still manipulation. It comes down to this, and I think every single live we do, it comes down to this: what is the state of your heart? If it is not genuine, if you know that by buying the 28 acres, and let me tell you, I'm so serious about being non-manipulative because I know it can be in me. Like, I'm gonna be honest with that. Like, I know, but we all have the capacity for that. But I'm so serious about it that I really check my motives. Like, Brittany can attest to this. I was about to send a text to somebody, and I was like, you know what? The way that I'm gonna send this is gonna sound passive aggressive. Let me try again. I'm constantly trying to check my motives. I'm constantly trying to check my intentions, because the heart is deceitful. It will make you think that you're buying the 28 acres because he said that he wants to start a real estate business, and you thought it was cool, but really you think that it's a way, oh, I'm gonna get him now, right? You think that you're buying Sis a car because you really love her, and she said she wanted a new car and her car keep breaking down, but really you hoping that she'll bust it open for you once you get that car. Or vice versa. You're not doing it because you want her to understand that she can't think that she's gonna be getting all this stuff from me and she ain't and she's not committing to me, she's dating other people, or I'm not gonna do this and this for him because I don't want, why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free? Like, people say that about sex, but even in other things. So my point is, no matter what direction you go with, do what is genuine, do what is healthy, do what is wise, but make sure that you check your motives. Make sure that you check your motives and you ask yourself why. And what to Sharonica's point, this is the same thing that I was going to say. To Sharonica's point, don't give anything that you're going to regret not getting back if the relationship goes away, right? If there's anything that you can give and you're like, you know what, it's going to hurt my feelings. If they don't say thank you, it's going to hurt my feelings. If they walk away and, this relationship don't work, don't do it, because you're going to hurt your own feelings. But I will challenge you to assess why. Why will it hurt my feelings to give a free gift? Something that I'm saying is unattached and it's for them. Any closing thoughts here? Bree's having some technical difficulties, so I don't know if we can hear her or if she can chime in, but Ship, do you have any additional thoughts?
Yeah, I just want to say, because I'm looking in the comments, there's this harping on the whole 28 acres thing, and I think the concept of the idea here is, it's not the thing, it's the mindset behind it. So addressing a couple of things that I said previously, like when I talk about from the standpoint of affording it, what I mean more about it is not so much a monetary thing. So in other words, it's like at every level of dealings, there's a mindset that goes along with those dealings. At a lower level, we operate with the mindset of that level. So at the highest levels, there's a higher mindset. At the level that these people were at, this is where they play. This is where they play. People that are at different levels, they play at that level. So while, us at whatever level we are may not be thinking, oh, as a gift, I want to buy somebody 28 acres. We may be thinking of an investment in, exactly, because that's not what we deal in. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we deal in real estate, you think about acres. If you deal in finance, you think about money. If you deal in restaurants, you think about food. You think about where your dealings are at your level.
I might
and
get
it's okay.
Donuts.
Yeah, I like donuts. It's okay. And it's okay either way. You know what I'm saying? Like, at no point are you required to do anything for anyone. And when I stress that, at no point, and I'm sure at no point are you required to do anything for anybody. And that doesn't matter what capacity you are at them. Every day becomes a choice. Even in a marriage, and I've been married before, even in a marriage, you wake up each day intentionally choosing.
Yep.
You have to.
Yep.
You have to. That's the only way that's going to work. You're going to have to intentionally choose every day. If the sense of what you do for anybody at any time is from a motive of obligation, that is going to change the heart and intent of it, and the other person is going to pick up on that and is going to change the reception of that giving. Okay, so if we eliminate the concept of what's being given and work on the heart of the matter of why we're giving and what our intent is there, then it goes beyond the fact of 28 acres. 28 acres in somebody's mindset could be a drop in the bucket.
Yes.
Whereas for somebody else, that's maybe their entire life savings. It's not necessarily equal giving, but it becomes equal sacrifice. And I think that's what we need to look at here. So what was my intention here? What was my intention? It's not always equal giving, it's equal sacrifice. So if you're not able to give 28 acres, you can give something else based on how you feel in that moment. But while it's not wrong that somebody is choosing not to give 28 acres, there's nothing wrong with choosing to do it if that's what you can do. And that's more what a point that's trying to be made here. It's quite all right if you don't want to do that. I don't think anybody should judge you for not wanting to give a gift at that level. But at the same time, I feel that there is absolutely no reason to be judging somebody else for their decision to do it, because if that's what they want to do and they're able to do it, then let them do it, because that's what works for them. And that's just really all it is. So for you, that's too extravagant a gift. If you feel that risk is too high, that's fine. Don't do it. But for those that are okay with it, they're making that choice just like you're making yours. And it's not so much about the amount of something, but it's the intent that goes behind it. I'm pretty sure that in the context of what was happening here, these two people had something in their mind that made that appropriate in that relationship for that situation. So again, we're looking through the lenses of our lives and then trying to project that onto somebody else's relationship, and we're not the same people. So I think it's just we have to get past the concept of money, because like you said, Vernique, earlier, that gifting and stuff is not, it's not just about that. It's not just about an amount of money or anything like that. There's a bigger principle here, and it's being able to freely love and freely give, because that's the way God is with his love. And the perfect love of God does not have limitations on it. It doesn't. He doesn't, say because you didn't say or do a certain thing to me, I'm not going to wake you up. So if our strive is to love like him, it's not so much that I want to give you such an extravagant gift, but I want to be able to love you without restriction, with a complete freedom, and without fear. You know what I'm saying? And it's just getting to a place, and maybe it takes you longer to get there, but if somebody is able to get there sooner, let them live.
Yeah, really, really quick too. I'm gonna throw a wrench at the end. I'm gonna let Brittany speak, but I'm gonna throw a wrench at the end because I just realized I just thought about something, but I forgot what I was gonna say to what you said. But I like a lot of what you said. I think that I do think that there are levels of sacrifice though, but at the same time I don't, because again, the Bible talks about how what greater love than this, that he would lay down his life for a friend, like for a friend. So like I think that we're just so scared, like you said, about what people will think about us. Like imagine, so let's say they break up, right? In a month. Let's say they break up, everybody gonna be like, see, you bought that man all that land and da 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 da. And because society has conditioned us, and I think a lot of the restraints that we have on our mind is not from God, it's from society. Right. And so the people gonna be looking at her crazy, and she has one of two choices. She can either feel like, yeah, I guess I was stupid for buying him all that land, and or she can say, you know what, I loved him well, and I did what I felt like the moment called for, and I released all shame and guilt from that. Right. Brittany, what are your thoughts?
I mean, is there anything to say after pastorship laid it out all on the altar? But honestly, it really, for me, I just want to implore those of us who are in a relationship, who are interested in a relationship, and who marry, whether you just got married, been married a long time, really begin to. I want you to look at your partner again. This is for the married folks. Look at your partner again and think about what areas of your life, of y'all life together, that you second guess doing something. If you think about going to do a thing, if you put something in your cart, if you go to make a phone call, go to make a date, and then you pull back, what are you protecting? What area have you not been loved well, that now you're not loving them well, or you're withholding is a response to that? And I challenge you to unpack that with your partner, because that is that silent dissension, that little tiny tear is slowly but surely the thread that could serve to unravel your entire marriage. And for those of us who are single, who are pursuing, if you are at a space where you are even thinking about, or even already having your list of I ain't never going to do, you're not ready for a relationship. And that's okay. That's okay to not be in that space. If you're leading with your guard and not with wisdom, and if you are leading with what can I get as opposed to what can I give, if you're leading with what you're going to do for me versus how, are you right for me versus are we right for each other? Is this a good fit? You're not in the right in that mindset of you being the prize. The thing of it is, especially as us, Black folk, anytime where two Black people are together and are loved well, that is a rebellion and a resistance to a system that is set up against us to fail. So Black love done right is revolutionary. And so any opportunity to do it, understanding that any revolution, you may get bloody, you may get dusty, but the thing is that, is that your pain and your hurt fails when compared to the glory that is yet to be, yet to be revealed. So that's what I was saying.
And again,
can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can't. Go ahead, Bree. Go ahead.
Hey.
I don't know. My video won't work, but just real quick, my thing was just thinking about how, we say that we're supposed to love people like ourselves, love your neighbor like yourself. And I feel like if we just go into relationships like focused on that, And like you said, like check our intentions, check our motives, and just keep it that way. Because I see a lot of people in the comments saying, "Oh, I just wouldn't do that because it's a lot of money." I feel like it's like we want to get down to semantics of how much money we're spending and all those things. But one, if somebody decides to spend the money, that's their money to spend. That's their choice to do. Why are we in the media talking about this? Why is this even a conversation? If she
That's right.
decided to do that for her boyfriend, that's her private business. Granted, she is a celebrity. However, she decided to do what she wanted to do. Just like you decide to, do whatever you want to do for your partner, whatever. So one, let people do what they want to do. Two, you do what you want to do based off of the decisions that you made for yourself, and the ones that you make, don't make them, like you said, out of fear and out of scarcity, like, oh, this person might leave me, this person might whatever. Like, do it because you genuinely love the person. And that's how we're supposed to just be as believers. Because if we're supposed to be believers, we're supposed to genuinely show love to people. And we just need to stop putting conditions on that. Because it's just like, it's honestly, I just keep feeling like it's like the love your neighbor as yourself as long as it benefits me in the way I want it to benefit me. And that's not in the Bible. So like, we just need to check ourselves on that.
And love
Agreed.
ourselves better, because I think a lot of us are loving our neighbors
Ooh,
as we
yes.
are. And if we quiet as it's kept, you
Oh
are loving
my,
your neighbors
oh
as you love
my, oh
Yikes.
my.
Yikes! Listen,
Yikes.
that is the one. That is the one. I was literally listening to somebody who said that, like, we love people based off of like if they match, like we love people as they match where we are or something like that. So the level that you love people is probably the same level that you either feel loved or love yourself. Like you really, like, in order for you to reflect something, you have to have it already. Like again, if I'm walking around balling and I can buy myself whatever I want, why would I not have my man match my fly? You know what I'm saying? And by the way, he's
That's
richer than
all I'm
her.
saying.
His
That's
net,
all I'm saying.
listen, to my understanding, his net worth is more than hers. Like, you see what I'm saying? So why would I not? It's not like she's not taken care of. And she recently posted again and was like, "This man, y'all don't understand how this man protects me. He loves me. He covers me financially. He's there for me mentally and emotionally, all that kind of stuff." No, for those of you who have not experienced that kind of love, and I get it, because hopefully it only comes once in a lifetime and you get to marry that person, right? But hopefully, if you like me have experienced divorce, like, my goal is to experience that again. But I have been in situations where I have given more than I probably would have given in the past because I was loved so well, or I felt like I was loved so well. And so,
Then love well will do that to you.
it's
it
But
sure
anyway,
will.
but that's what
It
I'm
will
saying.
do that.
It got you thinking like,
It'll do that.
what I got? What do I hear? You want a pen? Like, I don't need. Do
Listen,
you write?
and
Do you
quiet as
like
it's
what?
kept,
Like,
as much money as he peel off to her, that might have been his money that bought them acres. For real. And the thing is that, and as a girlfriend,
We'll never
knowing
know.
that is acres or land that he wanted, he's probably having a dream of building out properties or whatever. And she knew he would never do it for himself. So, babe, can I have $60,000?
Listen,
And then she went and did that, because that's what loving somebody well is. If you are modeled after Christ, you should only know unconditional love.
yeah. I mean, and again,
man,
at your level,
ooh.
at one point I was, was dating somebody, and I was in love, and mind you, I work a, regular 9 to 5, plus I have 2 of my own businesses that I was running, and the way that that particular woman affirmed me and made me feel, I was doing all of that and coming home cooking 5 times a week to feed her, cause yeah. So I'm saying, so no, it's not 28 acres of land, but that's a sacrifice, because I'm working
Yeah.
essentially 3 jobs, but it's like, yeah, the love that I feel, the affirmation that I feel, the quality time that I'm being given. Maybe let me cook you this meal. Sit down and eat. You know what I'm saying? So I
Come
mean,
on now,
it's
because again, like, what do I have? What can I give you?
what
What do
can
I
I
have? That's
do?
what
That's
love. The Bible talks about. The Bible says that love compels us. If your love doesn't compel you, if your love has you cross arm looking like and evaluating like, let me see, that ain't love, baby. That's not
right.
love. Love compels you. It moves you. It draws you. It pours compassion over you for the person that you're with. And again, I want to be clear, because some of y'all are going to hear this and you're gonna be like, okay, great, let me go out here and be dumb. What I'm not saying is do this for any and everybody. What I am saying is, when it comes to your romantic relationships, if the relationship has been tested, right? Like, if you feel like this is a good person or whatever, and again, like we said before, if you meet that person one day and their birthday is the next day, and you want to buy them, I don't know, Yeezys or something like that, and you can do that, cool, right? It may not have the same thing, but when it comes to things that actually matter to you to give, right? Because I think not only do gifts have an intrinsic value to the receiver, but it may have something to the person, right? So like,
A
let's say I'm an artist,
sentiment.
and
It
I know
means
my
something
man
to
loves
them.
paint, like loves painting. Yeah, like if I do this labor of love of painting, like it really does cost me something. It really does mean something to me. And then when I give it to them, you know, it's sentimental. Now, because that is something that means something to me, I want to make sure that I give it at a time where the relationship has maybe been tested, or has had, like Brittany was talking about, there's a shared vision, right? Because there are levels to relationships. That's not what we're saying. Like there is a talking phase or whatever. There are like a committed relationship. If we are committed and we both have a vision for the future, then I'm like, you know what? I trust enough. I feel good enough to be vulnerable to give this type of gift, to give this particular gift. And so I give it or whatever. So you still use boundaries, right? Like, but a lot of us have boundaries rooted in things that have nothing to do with anything. Your boundaries should be rooted in your standards. Your standards set the stage, right? If they set the stage, your standards are based off of what you value. And if you value the word of God, if you value yourself, if you value those types of things, your standards will be established. And then your boundaries are rooted in that. So if one of my standards is I really value my peace, am I going to be in relationships with people that cause chaos in my life? Probably not. And so, you know, based off of those boundaries that you have, like I don't let people, you know, some of my boundaries are I don't do work on Sunday. I don't, you know, whatever, then those things fall into place. So I hope that makes sense. But my point is that boundaries still exist when it comes to loving people well. However, within the boundary, love them to the full capacity that you can.
Love them to that
Like love
edge.
people to the full capacity.
Right to
Yeah,
the edge
love
of
them
that
to that
boundary.
edge. Like stop being stingy, because you don't want nobody to be stingy with you. And that's the real gag, is we don't want nobody to withhold nothing from us, but we want everything they got. Right? So anyways, I think this conversation can continue on and on, but I hope that this gave you guys value. I hope that this was something that benefited you and challenged your perspective. I'm open to disagreement. There will be a post posted after this where you guys can voice anything that you had. I'm cool with you disagreeing, but I believe that we brought some sound doctrine. We used the word of God. We brought our perspectives, and I believe that there were some wise things that were said tonight. But listen, we are not pastors. We're not your mama. We're not your daddy. We're not your spiritual leader. We are just people
Definitely
who
not.
really enjoy the word of God. We enjoy serving God. We enjoy serving you all. And we want to make sure that you are able to see relationships and get into relationships from a sober, wise, and authentic and healthy perspective. Okay. Any closing remarks once again? No, all hearts and minds are clear. I hope y'all are all clear in the comments. My situation, my computer is acting weird again. But I hope y'all have a good night. Again, we will have a family meeting soon, so make sure that you stay tuned for that. There's a couple of changes that are happening, some good things that are happening. Grab Your Stuff podcast will be happening soon. So let's be excited for that. Our first podcast will be hosted by me. I'm really, really excited about it. So stay tuned for that information. But if nothing else, y'all be healed, be whole, love each other well, and live authentic. Love you guys.
Ain't y'all?
You gotta end it, B.